Woo, I did not think this was going to happen today. I didn't feel like speaking. I didn't feel like talking about my life or anything. I also have had trouble even enjoying reading this week. It's been a rough week. What's up, everybody? This is Robin O'Neill. This is me reading stuff where we just let you have it. We just give it to you straight. We talk it all out. We wonder. We thrive. We fail. Let's go. I was on a walk when I was recording that. That's why it sounded kind of different. And then after that, I tried to record the crunching of the fall leaves underneath me, and then I inhaled a bug directly into the mic, into my phone. Let me find it. I'll share it with you guys. I'll share it after the intro theme music, because this song fucking jams. How are you guys doing? As you can tell, I'm having a little bit of a rough time. Don't even want to get into it. It's just the same old bullshit you've heard out of my mouth about 10 billion times. My health, and then my health and my chronic illnesses affect my mental health significantly. So, who cares? Let's move on. I was most concerned, though, about the fact that I wasn't enjoying anything. I also, around the same time that things started to take a turn for the worse, I had finished the show that I was watching, and you guys got to know this about me by now. I mean, TV watching is vital to my well-being, and when I finish a show, I go into a bit of a mild depression just about the show finishing, and then if it's coupled with other weird stuff in my real personal life and stuff like that, I just get off, man. I don't get off. I just get mad and upset about everything. Anyway, this is ridiculous. I will tell you a cool story, actually. I had to get a new psychiatrist, and she was amazing. She was in Dallas, Texas, by the way. I'm in Washington State, for anybody who doesn't know. And every time I meet with a doctor about anything, when they first see my list of medications, there's always this same look to their face. Because I'm on at least, I haven't counted right now, but I think 9 or 10 prescription medications for my heart, for my autoimmune, etc. And so I sent it to her via the little message system we were on, via video chat or whatever. And she did that same first look when she looked it over, and I saw her looking at a different device or a computer when I sent it to her, and it's this look of like kind of shock, but it was brief with her, and then she very quickly looked at me through the camera, and she said, in this beautiful African accent, she said, "You have a lot to be grateful for." And I thought that was the kindest, most moving thing a doctor could say to me when looking that over. And I think at a different time in my life, I wouldn't have taken it as well. I mean, I wouldn't have been offended, but I would have been like, maybe asking her, like, what do you mean? This is my misery. This is why my life is so challenging for me. Everything else is golden, but this body of mine, is just fighting me all the time. But I didn't have to say that because I knew exactly what she meant. I'm still here. I'm walking. I'm talking. I'm surviving. And so, anyway, Gloria, Dr. Gloria, thank you, Dr. Gloria, out there in Dallas. I love you already. One meeting, and I love this woman with all of my heart. And then she saw this thing I crocheted behind me, and it has a lot of like crosses all over it. And she goes, "Oh, what is that?" And I told her about it. And she said, "I'm Catholic, and it reminds me of the banners in the Catholic Church behind the altar." And I was like, wow, I am also Catholic, and I have been highly influenced. My work has been highly influenced by those banners. So we had that in common too. And if you guys don't know, if you own my book, 20 years, what is it? I almost said 50 years of drawing. 20 years of drawing. You can get it on my website. This sounded really streamlined, like I planned this out, but I don't plan anything out on here. normally anyway. But you can read, and the curator, Allison DeLima Green, she actually wrote about that in the intro. I think it's an interview. It's either, I think, no, it's an essay about me and my work. And I talked at length about the Catholic banners. And amazing visual artist Mike Kelly, RIP, also was very influenced by the banners in the Catholic Church. All right, you guys want me to pull that clip of me choking on a bug? Let me find it. Okay, real talk. Now that I've listened to it, it's so embarrassing. But I'm into exposing the embarrassing side of my life, so why not just include it? But trigger warning, it sounds kind of gross. I didn't realize how gross it sounded. So if you can't take a choking type sound, move on to about, I don't know, a minute ahead. But here, for those of you who enjoy hearing the sound of people choking on bugs, that's what I got for you today. Listen up, everybody. Does anybody else listen to this? Well, you can't hear it because the music will probably be playing now, but fall leaves, crinkly, crunchy, I don't know what you would call them, crisp? All of these words sound disgusting all of a sudden, but dry leaves on the ground, fall leaves. My area of where I live in Washington looks an awful lot like the videos that I tell you guys I watch all the time on YouTube, all the ambiance videos. Just type in cafe ambiance fall, or I just inhaled a bug. Wasn't that pleasant? All right, guys. So let's do a quick recommendation corner. I do have a few things that I wrote down. Let's do this. Okay, I love recommendation corner. I also like hearing the recommendations you guys always have because they're good. Okay, so number one, I used to talk about this when I had the short-lived podcast Robin's Gate, which has some incredible songs. I might include one in this podcast, but my trick of, I call it, I don't know, the ABCs. I guess I haven't given it a name. The ABC trick, where if you are in having anxiety or in like a panic attack, or just needing to kind of, or if you just need to go to sleep, something like that, you go through the alphabet and you start listing things in order of the alphabet that start with each letter of just, you can do it anyway. The way I do it, sometimes it's just like food I like. And so I'll start with A, apple, B, this is dumb, but banana. C, I mean, I do love both of those things. C, caperberries. D, what's a good D word? Well, anyway, you get the idea, but see how you start to really engage your brain. Or it can be actors you like, or it can be names you like. Cities you've been to. I don't really like it when it's just that kind of practical matter of like where you've been, or I've heard things like, list animals and that kind of thing. But what I like is to really engage with things that I really enjoy, like song titles or bands or people who make me happy or something. So I'm not doing a great job explaining this, but trust me, it helps engage my brain with positivity rather than worry. So that's my anti-worrying trick. I feel like I have another anti-worrying trick that I wanted to tell you. Let me see if I have it written down in my little emergency thing. Oh, and then, I do have it written down. This says, what kind of fun thing do I get to do next? Replace worries with excitement. Like and I can always get excited about something. Even this week, while I've been really negative, there are still things, like minor things, like making a turkey sandwich, for instance. I have this new bread. Oh my God. I don't know if it's only in Washington State. Have you guys ever heard of Grandma Sycamore's white bread? Now, I know most people who listen to this podcast are not unhealthy like me and enjoy white bread. But to be honest, there are conditions in my body that make white bread really kind of, I know this sounds crazy, but it's really good for me and my particular system. So white bread is, like if I start eating grainy breads or seedy breads or all those healthy breads, or God forbid I put wheat in my body, it's bad news. So Grandma Sycamore's makes Wonder Bread look like nothing. I mean, it's the most amazing bread I've ever had. So I do. I mean, I could talk about that. Or what else could I talk about? Yeah, just anything I get excited about. Like, well, now I'm into, what is it called? Law and Order SVU. I've only watched that in little bits. I've never watched it full on, and now that's my new show. So to get over the depression of my last show ending, I now am on to Law and Order SVU, and my God, I'm obsessed. Anyway, so that's my other thing. What fun thing do I get to do next? And then I start thinking about it. Like, if I can make time for instance, I want to decorate the house for Halloween. Now that's exciting. It's also exhausting, so that's why I haven't done it yet. But I think that's pretty cool. Okay, what else is, I have my little list on Recommendation Corner. Oh my God, this one is good. Have you noticed these are all food related? Number one, have you guys ever tried baking your quesadillas instead of putting them in a pan and making quesadillas? New thing, get your oven to 425. I don't know if this is new to me. So set your oven to 425. Get yourself a cookie sheet. Spray it with olive oil or brush it with olive oil. Lay down your tortillas and then fill half the side. You know, usually it's cheese and then whatever else, beans or meat or whatever, just anything you want. And then more cheese, a little bit more cheese so that it's, you know, sticking together. Fold it in half. Get that thing in the oven. 8 minutes on one side. Flip it. 8 minutes on the other side. It's insane. It's so much easier, in my opinion, too, than the whole, it's kind of annoying making quesadillas in a pan for me. I mean, if I had like a big griddle or grill or whatever, grill set, like at a diner, maybe it'd be a little bit better, but I've always loved quesadillas, but had a lot of trouble with them and flipping them correctly. But this new way of doing it, so 425, 8 minutes on each side. You're welcome. Also, don't know if this is a Washington State thing, but Brits pickles. Whoa, 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 whoa. They are made in Washington State. They're the closest I've come to having a New York deli pickle away from New York. So, I mean, pickles are my favorite food. I thought I liked Bubbies, but I'm not as much of a fan of Bubbies. And my all-time favorite is still going to be Best Made Pickles out of Fort Worth, Texas. What's up? That'd be a good one. If I ever did start getting sponsorships or whatever on the show, that would be one of my first choice. That and, you guessed it, Kleenex. Specifically Kleenex with lotion. And I think I should also do Pentel pencil lead, like mechanical pencils. If I ever have the wherewithal or the gumption to do so, I should reach out to those places. You guys ready for me to read a little bit? Let's do this. All right, we're going to read one of our all-time favorites, our hero on the show, Anne Carson. And we're going to be reading from her first book of poetry, Short Talks. All right. I also want to read, before I forget, the outro, or otherwise known as the author's afterword. So this book is published, Brick Books. It was first published in 92, and it was republished. And I'll go ahead and put a link in the description so you guys know when to buy it. The one that I own, I wish I had the original. This is the other printing was 2015. Now, I've read from this book before on Me Reading Stuff, so if you want to, get on Podomatic and do a search. And it's just beautiful. I think there's around 47, 50 small prose poems, I would call them, or you could call them short talks. And I'm going to be reading Short Talk on my task, but I'm going to first read to you the author's afterword. Short Talk on Afterwords. An afterword should leave the skin quickly, like an alcohol rub. Here is an example from Emily Tennyson's grandmother. Her complete diary entry for the day of her wedding, May 20th, 1765. Finished Antigone, comma, married bishop, period. Now that just thrills me. As somebody who uses too many words constantly, I long to be that direct and that simple, you know? Anyway, let's read Anne Carson's Short Talk on My Task. My task is to carry secret burdens for the world. People watch curiously. Yesterday morning at sunrise, for example, you would have seen me on the break wall carrying gauze. I also carry untimely ideas and sins in general, or any faulty action that has been lowered together with you into this hour. Trust me, the trotting animal can restore red hearts to red. Whew. God, that's so good. I don't know how I haven't read that one to you guys yet. And I have a printout of this one. I recommend you search my podcast for the one on shade. I'm not sure what it's called. I saw her. I'll put a link in the description of where I've found her reading it on YouTube, but I have it written out here: forest shade, lake shade, poplar shade, highway shade, backyard shade, cafe shade, down behind the high school shade. Anyway, it goes on and on. It's one of my favorite pieces of all time. And I don't know if anyone noticed, but when I read Mary Ruefle for you, either last week or the week before, I did include a link to where she reads it, the one on the wheelbarrow, and called Red, and I really recommend you hear her read it. If I thought it was appropriate, I would just include it here, but that's not really fair. It's all linked in the Mary Ruefle, and it's in the Mary Ruefle episode. So check that out, and you're welcome, because it's her poem, so obviously she's going to read it better. Not that I think everybody reads their poetry better, but everybody I read on here reads better than me. And Ann Carson is one of my favorite readers and one of my favorite voices, and Mary Ruefle is up there too. So that's the only one I have for today. All right, guys, give me a second to gather my brain. I guess this one's going to be short. I know these used to be even shorter than this, but I feel like I have everything to say to you guys and nothing to say at the same time. So being that I'm in some sort of in-between state, I'm going to move on. I'm going to let you guys go about your business. I'm going to find dinner and watch another episode of Law & Order, SVU. I'm going to maybe get the Halloween decorations out of our upstairs closet and consider starting that tomorrow. Good news, do you hear a neighbor yelling in the background? I think they're yelling at sports, not one another. That's always good. I get unsettled when I hear yelling at one another, but yelling at sports is a whole other matter. What was I going to say? Oh, I had to call in. I had a jury duty summons, and I was supposed to call in today at 5 to check to see if I had to go in tomorrow, and I don't. So I may still have to go in later this week. We'll find out. Thank you guys for listening, and to anybody who's joined my Substack, I've been good about posting images from my composition notebooks, and I particularly like this last one, although when I sent it out via email through the Substack or through my newsletter, I had a typo. You guys, I'm not good at forgiving myself. I love beating myself up, and I can't stop thinking about that typo. Oh, God, it was awful. And it was in the PS, and I love PSs. Postscripts are just a thing of beauty. To me, they're the most beautiful thing in the written language. I really mean that. I am obsessed. And here I go, sending out to many, many people a PS with a typo. Help me forgive myself. Help me get through this. Help me. You guys are helping me by being here. I love you guys. I'm going to let you go. Remember, you and I have a lot to be grateful for, no matter what. And that is the quote from Dr. Gloria, and we are meant to listen to Dr. Gloria, everybody. Happy Halloween. Good evening. Eat well, drink water, and I'll talk to you guys next week. I love you guys. Bye-bye.